Hey Roanoke, thank you for joining me for another episode of If You Noke, You Know, a municipal podcast brought to you by the City of Roanoke and Roanoke Valley Television. I'm Carol Corbin, your host and tour guide to all things Roanoke, and we go behind the scenes and learn a little bit more about what's happening around our city, and we get to talk with some pretty fantastic people that I have the privilege of calling my colleagues. Now, some quick housekeeping. If you've been with us since the beginning, you might be used to some of our more longer form content, some of those 30-minute to hour episodes, and we may still have a few of those each year. However, we want this information to be accessible for you. So we're really going to try to get these episodes down to about 15 minutes or less, get you on your way with your day, and let you know what's happening around Roanoke. So let's get started with a new segment where we'll start off the episode with a little TLDR and give you the short and sweet of Leaf Collection 2025. So Leaf Collection kicked off this week and it will run through December 18th, except for the week of Thanksgiving. You can participate by collecting your leaves in biodegradable paper bags and sitting them by the curb with your normal trash, bulk, and brush on the day of your regular collection. We won't pick up leaves that are bagged in plastic bags, and we don't provide loose leaf collection services. However, if you want to hire a private company for loose leaf collection, it's a good idea to call 853-2000 option 1 and give us a heads up. So now, in order to get to more details about what all of that means, we need to introduce today's guest. So Brian Hainsworth, our Solid Waste Management Division Manager, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. This is my first podcast, and I'm excited.
We're excited to have you. Now, one of the things that we do on our show is we really want our guests to introduce themselves. So can you let our listeners know a little bit about you and why you chose public service?
Well, let's see. I fall under the sign of Cancer, not a Capra. No, just kidding. Brian Hainsworth, about 25 plus years of municipal service, much of it in North Carolina. Worked with the city of Durham, worked with the county of Durham doing solid waste related activities. Also served as the director of solid waste for Franklin County in North Carolina, and was a director down in Savannah, Georgia before I came here to Roanoke.
Oh, wow. What brought you to Roanoke?
Great opportunity, beautiful scenery, great people. So win-win all down the line.
Did you come in the Chris Morrill era where he came from? Didn't he come from Savannah? I think.
Perhaps, not sure. No, I got here in 2021.
2021.
So I'm approaching 5 years of service with the city.
Get invested.
But again, great place, beautiful scenery, and love the folks.
Well, we love to have you here. So let's get a little bit into today's topic because we're talking leaf collection. Mm-hmm. So why do we only collect leaves during the few weeks that we have marked on the calendar for leaf collection?
Well, I've thought about that, and I think it's the peak time of falling leaves. You know, certainly we consider the fall colors, and when do they peak? I think this is that season where we see the maximum amount of leaves falling, especially over the last few days with the winds just howling here in the Roanoke Valley. It's a prime example of why this is a good time to do it. Certainly for some of us who are from the Northeast areas, it's a transitional time from fall into winter. With the holidays coming, it makes for a great backdrop.
Perfect. Okay. And so why in Roanoke do we specifically collect bags in the biodegradable paper bags? Why don't we use plastic?
Well, primarily because it's better for the environment. Okay. Plus, it's less expensive. In terms of specifically here in Roanoke, if it's not in paper bags, it has to go to the landfill. Those leaves can be a beneficial nutrient to the soil because as you opened your podcast today, as you talked about mulching. Mulching is probably the best way to naturally and more environmentally friendly get rid of those leaves. Next would be paper bags or biodegradable bags, because over time, they do just what the name says. They degrade and they return that material back to the soil, things of that nature.
And so are bags or leaves that are collected in the paper bags, do they go somewhere separate than the landfill, or do they still go to the landfill?
We've been fortunate. We've been contracting with Rocky Dale, which is a local company that does quarries, and we have a facility through them in the northeast quadrant. We've had it for a number of years, and that's where our paper bag leaves that we collect go, and they turn them from time to time, and they ultimately become topsoil.
That's really fascinating. And again, such a great way. Like, we can't take plastic bags there to do that. It's not going to work. That's awesome. I love that. And so, my next question was to be, what happens to the leaves that are collected? So they're not going to the landfill. They're going and they are getting turned into topsoil.
Right.
Do we do anything with that topsoil, or is that just kind of like something that this Rocky Dale, the company,
Rocky Dale does, because they're in the business of quarries. They sell stone, they sell sand, they may even sell other mulch products. So we're assisting them. They're assisting us by providing an environmentally friendly way to properly dispose of the leaves.
Love that. And so your team is responsible for collecting everything. They collect the trash, they get the recycling, they're getting the bulk items every week. They're also getting the leaves. On average, how many leaves do we get every year? How many bags of leaves do we get?
Well, certainly in anticipation of the question, we looked at data back since 2009. We've averaged about 156 tons of bag leaves collected.
Wow. And bag leaves are not heavy.
No, that's a lot of bag leaves.
That's a lot of bags of leaves.
And of course, like you said, we touch every house in Roanoke each week. And with that, we allow unlimited numbers of bags. So, of course, some properties have, tons of leaves that fall. So we're here for it.
We're here for it. And again, sometimes if bagging all those leaves gets to be a little hard, bag the majority, mulch mow the rest, like we can.
Yeah, nice little mixture.
There's a mix. It's great. Well, is there anything about the leaf collection process that I haven't asked you about that you want our community to know?
Well, no, but since I have this platform, I look back in 2024, the American Public Works Association had a conference here, and I was fortunate enough to sit on a workshop with other municipalities throughout the state. And what were we talking about? Leaf collection. So when you look at the state, there are a variety of ways. Some communities use vacuum trucks to collect their leaves. Others have drop-off sites, and then others provide or have the bag leaf collection. So there's a multiplicity of ways that you can collect leaves, and some communities just put it on the residents to mulch them. So, it just depends on the municipality what level of service that they can provide for their residents.
And so for us, we want to provide the highest level of service we can while remaining environmentally friendly and making this a process that works for our people who are having to do the work
Right,
too.
Because that's why, working with you and the engagement team, of course, to get the word out either through postcards. We have the Berglund sign that we use. So we want to provide as much upfront information for folks to do what's proper.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. We hope that you have gotten all the information you need on what to do with those leaves because, as Brian mentioned, the wind has been a-blowing. I know that my yard is covered. So, it is time to get into leaf collection. And thank you for making it with us to the end of this episode, and we'll see you next time.